So if you're deciding which real estate brokerage should I join, I know this is a big question for a lot of people, right? And I'll tell you my insights from my personal experience. This is my 18th year in the real estate business, and I've been part of some of the biggest companies and the biggest franchises. And I'm going to share with you just some nuggets that I would consider to ask questions. Because one thing I didn't know when I started 18 years ago is that you can interview brokerages and ask them questions. So make sure you ask a lot of questions so you could discover if the place is right for you. I don't think that every single brokerage is right for everyone. So that's why you have to ask specific questions on to what it is that you're looking for. That way you can make an educated decision of the community that you would like to partner with. So first thing to consider, first great question to ask, is understanding the value proposition of the organization you're going to join. What is the value proposition? Hey, if I hang my real estate license with your company, what is the value proposition? So pay attention to what the value proposition is, because you got to get present to the fact that the value proposition has to equal the cost of the organization, the cost of the brokerage, right? So that leads me to the next point, which is cost. Make sure that you have a capped commission structure. I'll give you a quick example. I've been in the business again, 18 years. One of my first brokerages, I didn't have any cap. So what does that mean? I would get paid 90% minus the franchise fees, minus all of the other things that went along with the brokerage. And I was making about 82% net and no cap. So I did 150 transactions. In 1 year, I paid $236,000 to my brokerage. So I didn't know this at the time, but after I did the math, that actually hurt. $236,000. Did I receive $236,000 of worth of value? Probably not. Make sure that the organization that you're joining has a cap. That means that there's a maximum. If I was part of a brokerage like I am now, where I have a $16,000 cap, which I'm at eXp Realty, I would have saved myself $220,000. Big difference. Then I could have allocated that towards marketing or a vacation or a new car, whatever I wanted to do with the money, right? So make sure that there's a cap commission structure. Very important. Also, don't get swayed by flat fee companies. A lot of companies out there are saying, well, you only pay us $500 every deal and that's it. Well, that sounds attractive for the front end, but if you really pay attention to it, and it depends on your goals too, right? If you're just doing this as a part-time gig and you're only going to do 2, 3, 4, 5 transactions, then maybe that makes more sense. Of course, if you're going to just treat it you're not going to treat it as a business. But if you are going to treat it as a business and you want to be a professional, then you want to represent multiple clients, 2 to 3 clients a month. I think that's a very, very healthy way to think about the business. That's what I did when I started. I wanted to serve at least 3 to 4 families every single month. So if you go with that example, and let's just say that you go even beyond that example, a $500, let's just say flat fee will actually cost you more if you actually do the math. Most people actually don't do the math. I actually, had an agent that joined my company. I interviewed him. I asked him how many transactions he had done. He had done about 70 transactions, and he was stuck. He said, I don't want to pay any commission. I only want to pay a flat fee. And I said, all right, so you did 70 transactions. How much are you paying? $500. Okay, got it. Have you done the math? No. Well, do you understand that even though you paid a flat fee, you paid $40,000 in commissions? And if you would have been with our company, you would have had a cap of $16,000 and would have got a gift of $16,000 in ownership, which leads me to my next point. Beyond cost, what are you getting in return as far as, not only the value proposition, which that was a very important one, but what are you actually getting? Are you getting ownership in a company? I really believe that if you have an option to hang your real estate license anywhere, why not pick a place where they give you ownership? Again, I've been part of other companies. I used to receive certificates and trophies, and guess what? They're not worth anything. They were really cool. They were really nice. I'm very grateful, but it doesn't change my financial future in any way, shape, or form. So I highly recommend that you partner up with a company that gives you ownership. That way, your work and your contribution to that organization, you're going to be directly connected with ownership. So make sure you ask, do you have ownership in this company? What kind of system do you have to reward growth? Because the other thing is, if you are successful in the brokerage, you're going to grow in influence. So you're going to attract people to the company, which leads me to my next point. I used to be with other organizations. I used to attract agents all the time. I used to get a pat on the back, and everybody was super excited. They were very grateful that I was there. And I did not receive anything in return, even though I helped to influence people to that company and helped it to grow. So you want to make sure that, again, you are maximizing your success for yourself. So make sure that you have a platform, a company that you partner with that has revenue share. Hey, do you give me ownership? What's your value proposition? And are you also sharing the revenue? Because if the company has all three of those things, I mean, those are like really key things. You should really consider that company. And then again, kind of like the last, but it's not the last, which is I think the most important part. Think about the community of people that you're going to partner with, and think about the people that you want to partner with, and look at their business and look at what they've done and figure out if they have the blueprint for you. Because when you make a decision to join an organization or brokerage, you're really partnering with people. Make sure that you're excited to connect with that individual, that you're inspired by the individual, and that they're also have access, like you have access, right? I talk to agents all the time, and they're like, well, I'm around this office because I have so-and-so and so-and-so in this office. But I then asked them the next question. Well, how many times have you actually spoke to them, and how many times have they actually shared with you something that's valuable for you and your business? The answer most of the time is none. They don't really, they have names around them, but they don't have access. So make sure that you have plenty of access. And also their training program has to be specifically catered to what is your vision, right? Are you interested in just ramping up your business as a new agent? Or maybe you got to the point where you've already done some transactions and now you want to, get to the next level and multiply your income. Or maybe now you're doing so much production and you have no time. So you have now a leverage problem, and now you need technology and other solutions. So maybe that's part of your training. Or maybe you now have gotten to the point where you can't even take any more clients. You got the system down and you still need help. So that means it's time to build a team by need, a sales team. So maybe that's the training that you need. Or maybe you're maxed out on your market and now you want to expand into other markets. Well, that's another training that you should look at. So again, make sure that the training program that they have outlined for you makes sense for what you want to do. And also, again, make sure that you partner with people that inspire you, that are going to be accessible to you. And don't be afraid to ask questions. If people get annoyed or frustrated when you ask questions, that already gives you a red flag that they're most likely not the right person, because if in the interview process, they're already giving you resistance and they're giving you lousy answers, guess what's going to happen when you join that company? They're probably not going to pay attention to you. They're going to ignore your calls, and they're looking at you as a number. So obviously they're not building relationships. One thing that you really got to look at when you're partnering up with a new company, or you're partnering up with somebody at an organization, make sure that again, that you're inspired by the way they communicate, and that you have the access, and that you're going to be able to work with them at a really high level, because the way that they handle your questions is going to be the way they're going to handle your questions throughout the entire partnership. So it's really important, really take a look at what they're doing. And also, kind of like another point that I just thought about right now, make sure that you're branding yourself and they allow you to brand yourself. Don't have any. I see too many agents make this mistake. They brand the company and they get stuck with, I need the company, and that's not true. It really isn't. But people believe it because that's what they've been told. So make sure that you're building your personal brand, because no matter what, if you decide to move your business to another organization or another brokerage, then you are still branding yourself. One thing that I've done excellent since the beginning of my career, I branded my name, Leo Robles. So make sure that you brand your name. Make sure you brand your brand, because again, ultimately what you're building is a personal brand, and that could, give you additional opportunities that you may not be thinking about right now. So the last thing, I guess, to conclude this is interview multiple people. Don't just go with one person. Interview multiple people. Ask them about their fees. Ask them about their structure, their training, their system, if they have support built into place. Where do you go for broker-related questions? Where do you go for accounting-related questions? Do you have a marketing and branding suite? All of those things. Events, live events. Do you have online events? Do you record your trainings, right? Make sure you ask all these things. And again, if you have any additional questions, send me a message. Make sure that if you got value, please subscribe to this, to my channel. Thank you.